Hello and welcome to another episode of PodcastDX, the show that brings you interviews with people just like you whose lives were forever changed by a medical diagnosis. I'm Lita. Ron will not be joining us today.
And I'm Peppa Pig.
She's Jean Marie. Peppa Pig. Collectively, we're the hosts of PodcastDX. We were going to be interviewing a guest about the gut microbiome and its role in chronic illness. However, we can't seem to connect on scheduling, so I decided to just do this episode as a roundtable.
I guess we first need to know what the gut microbiome is.
That's true.
Okay.
The Cleveland Clinic gives the following description. A biome, I guess you have to start with just a whole biome, not a microbiome.
Mm-hmm.
A biome is a distinct ecosystem characterized by its environment and its inhabitants. Your gut microbiome is a microscopic world within the world of your larger body. The trillions, did you hear me?
Yes.
Trillions of microorganisms that live there affect each other and their environment in various ways.
Mm-hmm.
They also appear to influence many aspects of your overall health, both within your digestive system and outside of it. Your gut, which is the inside of your intestines, is in fact a miniature biome populated by trillions. Did I say trillions?
A few times.
Of microscopic organisms.
Mm-hmm.
These microorganisms include over 1,000 species of bacteria, as well as viruses, fungi, and parasites.
You say it fungi instead of fungi?
Yes,
That's funny.
because I like fungi.
Okay.
Your gut microbiome is unique to you. Infants, like a fingerprint? Maybe. Infants inherit their first gut microbes during vaginal delivery or breastfeeding. Later, your diet and other environmental exposures introduce new microbes to your biome. Some of these exposures can also harm and diminish your gut microbiota.
Biota?
Biota?
Or you say biota? Yeah, it's interesting that we have different pronunciations for everything.
So, Jean, why is the gut microbiome important?
Because you say it is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Most of the microorganisms in our guts have a symbiotic relationship with us, their host. So we both benefit from that relationship. It's like many other symbiotic relationships out there. You know, like we are providing them shelter inside of us and their food, and they provide us with important services such as they keep other potentially dangerous microbes in check or at bay.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually kind of picture it all as a native garden.
I thought you would like that.
Native plants and stuff.
Right.
So things that are typically would grow in that area. And you rely on for nutritious foods and medicines. So when your garden is healthy and it's thriving, then you're going to thrive too. Or the environment will thrive and the critters living in the environment will thrive. But if the soil is depleted or polluted, is this all your?
Yeah.
Oh. Or there's pests or there's weeds taking over it. Like my garden right now is being overtaken by toxic weeds. And they're overrunning it. The helpful plants, then it can upset the whole ecosystem. And you could, that's not good.
So those are metaphors, right? We're not gardening in our intestines?
Well, kind of. But you can think that it helps you explain the benefits and the problems that you can have depending on your diet. For example, bacteria in the gut help to break down certain complex carbohydrates or dietary fibers that you could not break down on your own. And this is all courtesy of the Cleveland Clinic.
Right.
They were our source for this information. And then also microbes can help produce short-chain fatty acids, and that's an important nutrient.
And they do that as a byproduct, right?
Right. And they also provide enzymes necessary to synthesize certain vitamins like B1, B9, B12, and K. And they might seem like, like a small percentage of vitamins that we need to sustain ourselves. But micronutrient deficiencies can have a huge impact on your overall health.
That's right. Micronutrients are vitamins and minerals, and your body needs them in smaller amounts, but it does need them for all types of functions. Like different vitamins and different minerals can help with different functions. I think we learned that magnesium helps with pain, right?
Can, yeah, and sleep.
Okay. So many people are mildly deficient in certain vitamins and minerals from a lack of variety in their diet. You might not notice a mild vitamin deficiency affecting you, but as micronutrient undernutrition becomes more severe, it can begin to have serious and lasting effects. Gut bacteria also help to metabolize bile in your intestines. Your liver sends the bile to your small intestine to help you digest fats. When that's done, bacteria and their enzymes help to break it down so that the bile acids can be reabsorbed and recycled by your liver.
Or excreted.
Oh, okay. This is called hepatic circulation. Oh. Never would have guessed that.
Okay.
If this process stopped working, your body would be unable to recycle those bile acids, and your liver wouldn't have enough to produce new bile. Your digestive system wouldn't get the bile it needs to digest and absorb fats. And leftover cholesterol, one of the components of bile, would build up in your blood. That's never good.
No.
So, not that we have a little bit of now that we have a little bit of background information, it's time to talk about our initiative.
Well, it's not really about our advertiser, right?
About our advertiser.
So we have a wonderful advertiser. I can't even say it. And it's called?
Veteran Med Supplies.
And what is it that they do, Mom?
Well, to better serve the listening audience.
And people just in general.
And everybody else, right. They affiliate with a major medical supplier here in the United States, and you'll find affiliate links on our website, PodcastDX. They aim to tailor specific medical supplies and equipment based on the diagnoses to make it less stressful than looking through an entire catalog for what you might need. We're still open to suggestions, and we'll adjust the offerings based on what our listeners and guests find helpful. However, we need to return to the show because Jean is going to tell us a little bit about an unbalanced gut.
And I will say I love it when you spell everything out phonetically so I can easily pronounce it.
Dysbiosis?
Yep. We're talking about an unbalanced gut or dysbiosis, which is an imbalance of microbes living in your body. So if you have too many of some and not enough of another, and I would say it's like cooking. If you have, too much salt and not enough pepper or something of that nature, then they don't work as they should, and they might actually end up working against you. In particular, dysbiosis in your gut may have broad effects on your health. Could you give us a couple examples there, Lita?
I will try.
Thank you.
Dysbiosis makes us more vulnerable to infections from germs living inside and outside of our bodies. Bacterial dysbiosis is in your gut is directly involved in various gastrointestinal diseases affecting your digestive system, including bacterial infections like H. pylori or C. difficile.
So, yeah, that would cause ulcers, the H. pylori. Okay.
Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, also called SIBO. Inflammatory bowel diseases like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. And general digestive difficulties like diarrhea, constipation, and gas. I'm just thinking about somebody I know that may have this problem.
Okay.
But your gut microbiome...
Is it a friend, Mom? Is it a very close friend?
Yes. Your gut microbiome also interacts with your brain and with many of your other body systems, including your immune system, your nervous system, the endocrine system, and gut dysbiosis. I can't say it now.
Yeah.
Gut dysbiosis may be indirectly involved in a variety of other conditions, including malnutrition, malabsorption, food intolerances, irritable bowel syndrome, arteriosclerosis. Interesting. Oh, you know why?
Why?
Because the cholesterol didn't get absorbed.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
It's fascinating.
Fatty liver disease, metabolic syndrome.
Okay.
I can't talk today.
Yeah, it's too late in the day.
Chronic inflammation, chronic fatigue, and mood disorders.
Yeah, I've seen, and I don't, we're not saying that this works, but there are studies about different probiotics that people take that may help with depression.
Oh, okay.
Saying. And you might have dysbiosis in your mouth, on your skin, or in your intestines, or your urinary tract system. And if you have signs and symptoms of bacterial, viral, fungal infections or overgrowth there. And some symptoms may include like bleeding gums, tooth decay, cavities, because there's bacteria that's causing
Cavities.
Cavities. And actually, there was a work being done on a vaccine to help prevent cavities, primarily in canines. And I don't know whatever came of that. Atopic dermatitis or acne, and that's why a lot of the things that you use are to help unblock the bacteria from pores. Bloating, gas, and bowel movement changes. Also, painful urination, and genital discharge or itching, and that's, I think women are pretty much, we're all familiar with that being an issue with a yeast infection,
right.
which can sometimes coincide with taking an antibiotic, and that kills off the
Good bacteria.
microbiota that you needed there.
That balance, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's all connected.
It's all connected there. It's also, and with the oral microbiome, they're saying now that, they're really changing the way they view, like mouthwash and things of that nature.
I heard about that too, right. Yeah. Intestinal dysbiosis, in particular, may have broader effects, though it's hard to tell when symptoms outside of your gut relate to your gut microbiome. If you've recently developed intestinal symptoms together with other symptoms like mood changes or weight changes, they might be related. So, Jean, what causes dysbiosis, and is there testing to determine the cause of symptoms and maybe even find a definitive diagnosis?
I have no idea.
Well, let me ask somebody else.
Okay, but your healthcare provider can look into that if you believe that might be an issue. And there are different things in your internal and external environment that can affect your microbiome, including like if you're taking antibiotics, like we said with yeast infection, or antimicrobial agents, antifungals, anything like that. Other drugs and medications might also affect it. Smoking and alcohol use, that's going to end up killing off, the beneficial microorganisms.
Right. Some people use alcohol as a...
To kill bacteria.
Right,
and,
right.
Yeah.
So obviously if it kills it on the skin, it's going to kill it in your body.
Right. Environmental toxins, and then stress, physical and psychological stress, and chronic inflammation can also have an effect on that gentle, careful balance. Mm-hmm. Also, chronic diseases and the food choices that you make. Are you providing the nutrients that your microbiome needs, or are you providing it with ramen on a regular basis?
I see.
Oh, wait, not that there's anything wrong with ramen,
I understand
but
that.
You got to mix it up.
Right.
Yeah. Microbiomes are resilient overall, but extended exposure to any of these factors, or continued use of antibiotics, or that, or a combination therein, can cause significant changes. Environmental factors can harm some types of microorganisms while encouraging others, leading to an imbalance. Helpful types of microorganisms might not be able to do their jobs well enough, while the unhelpful types might take over and they may start to do damage or cause problems. Healthcare providers can diagnose infections with various lab tests. They might take a sample of your blood, your bowel movement, your urine, or they might take a swab from your skin, a swab from your mouth, or a swab from your genitals to test for infections or overgrowth. A pathologist then will examine that sample in the lab to help make a diagnosis. For gut dysbiome, no, I can't say it.
Dysbiosis.
Yeah, dysbiosis. Sometimes a breath test can be utilized, and that can help tell a provider about the types of bacteria that are dominant in your gut.
Okay. And what are some of the basic steps that almost anybody could take to improve their gut microbiome?
Well, the Mayo Clinic says that there are specifically foods that help create a healthy gut microbiome, such as prebiotics, fiber, probiotics, fermented foods. I think we've all heard about like yogurt and sauerkraut and kimchi and things of that nature. Also, high fiber diets containing prebiotics and probiotics help to promote a healthy gut microbiome, whereas diets high in fast food, processed food, sugar, and excessive alcohol can decrease gut health. So maybe we also need to know what role nutrition has in your overall well-being.
I should have left that one for you.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, you have to try to include these in your diet.
Okay.
Fiber,
Yeah.
prebiotics.
And this is if you always check with your healthcare provider, because some people can't have fiber.
Like me.
Yep.
Fiber is a non-digestible substance that feed healthy gut bacteria.
And also helps with bowel movements.
Right. And sources of fiber would be fruits, vegetables, legumes, which are like beans, grains, artichoke, asparagus, bananas, barley, beans, berries, chicory root, flax, garlic, leafy greens, oatmeal, onion, rye, and wheat.
Okay.
That's different sources that you can
Include in your diet.
in order to have more fiber and prebiotics.
Right.
And then fermented foods or probiotics, these bacteria feed off of fiber and prebiotics and aid in digestion. And sources of fermented food would be buttermilk, fermented vegetables, kefir, kimchi, kombucha, miso, sauerkraut, sourdough, tempeh, yogurt with live cultures, not just the fun yogurt.
So yeah, if you check the package, it'll tell you if there's live or active cultures. And I think that wraps up this episode. If you have any, have a damaged gut, then drop us a line, and we'd be happy to include you in a future episode. And you can tell us all about your personal experience with your gut microbiome, and how you were able to have that diagnosed, and what the treatment protocol was, and any tips or hints you happen to have.
And if you have any questions or comments related to today's show, you can contact us at PodcastDX@yahoo.com. And I've been lonely. I haven't gotten much email from you guys lately.
Oh, no.
You can also go to our website, PodcastDX.com. We're located on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and TikTok.
And if you have a moment to spare, please give us a review wherever you get your podcast. As always, please keep in mind that this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, and always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regime, and never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you've heard on this podcast.
Till next week.